So the green light is, well, I have a choice of colours and I have a remote. I just picked the one that best suited my eyes. Blue was quite healing on this side. I've got two lights. And this one, it was too blue, and then it was too yellow, and then it was too green, and I just gave up in the end and left it on green. But it reminds me of the comet I saw that flew over London. What was it? A few weeks back, a few months back. I lose the track of time. It was two shades of blue. One was, I can't remember the shades, but ultimately they gave off colour of turquoise. Maybe we should recreate it as closely as possible. Maybe I've attracted it from the future. Trying to make it as close as possible to what I saw, so you can see. I think it was a bit more like that, but the way they flickered together, it made turquoise. And I'm focused and I'm getting on with living with terror, which really and truly is just impossible, so it's only ever going to look insane. I'm there as a small whatever, trying to keep it together. And you know, it's like I don't give a damn about people anymore. It's like I'm walking into shops and my mental health is nattering in the background. Oh, this shop, they're nicer here, they're not as mean here. And I'm walking along the canals, and then this guy on the bike, he's like staring me in the eyes, like really staring me in the eyes. And my emotions are like, oh, bet you want to crumble, bet you want to crumble. You got to cry now, you got to cry, surely you got to break down. And ever since that guy stared at me, I've just been like, I know where I am, and what you're putting on me is not emotional pain right now, it's a workout. That's what it feels like. It feels like I'm lifting atlas stones on my back. Thing is, I haven't got control of my arms the way I'm holding it, and that's the problem. Otherwise it wouldn't be a problem at all. It'd probably be an enjoyable workout, but the way my arms are strapped to it, it's not quite comfortable in the lifting position. But nonetheless, what can I do? I mean, physical terror as a result of pain in my body, a lack of oxygen, and the insane world that I live in that just refuses to help. For all intents and purposes, I'm in a coma, and I remember when my uncle first told me, well, if you imagine this is all like a coma to me, you know, that's the way I look at it. You've got to deal with a lot of things from, well, one of the first, you've got to deal with the fact that you're probably in the afterlife. You're in the other, you know, the underworld, and the place between the real world and the afterlife. So for all intents and purposes, I'm not alive, I'm dead. I might as well be dead. If my body's in a coma, my mind's not alive. My body's a vegetable with the heart still pumping, probably as a result of, well, anybody that knows me. And that's the body, and here I am as the mind. This life is the mind. Just got to grab my cup from the kitchen. I remember being in the family home when I was last there before I moved out. And my uncle was over from Cyprus and he was working at the time. I think we were actually sharing a room with each other because my sister was still living at home. And don't forget, this is when one of the first wake ups to the fact that I might be in a coma that I had. I suppose that would be the case if you're in a coma, but it's a spiritual journey as well. It's a spiritual process. And my uncle represents spirituality for me in my life. I suppose, other than the obvious events that were taking place in my life that should have been signals. Hang on a second, Andrea, shouldn't you be dead? I can't remember the words of what my uncle said to me, but my uncle has our relationship. He has the strange ability to communicate anything to me in the right way, so I hear it on a spiritual level, but it's still very grounded within this world. And the way I received whatever words came out of his mouth was a case of, you're dead. And for a few seconds, it's like all my energy, all my weight in my body rushed to my head. You know, it was like I was light, and you've just been told you're dead. What are you gonna feel like? And I suppose that's when I really had to start dealing with the death urge, as Leonard Orr says, one of the grandfathers of the New Age movement. Apparently, I don't know much about his work. I've experienced it firsthand from another practitioner. I see its use, but on reflection now, from what I know, just on a off the top of my head, without really delving into it. So I don't know if it's intuition or just where I'm currently at with perception towards it. His work, we're talking about the rebirthing movement, is that if he was around in the 60s and 70s when it was coming out, the world was still very shut down, and it would have been needed as a stepping stone to true spirituality. And other than that, it's to be used on very sparing occasions for those that can't help themselves. And if that's what the world needed, then we needed Leonard Orr and his work more than anything else. But we're in a transition process, and what I view as grounded spirituality might be the very opposite of what we end up having as a collective when this game's over and we've transitioned. It might be something that resembles Leonard Orr's work is the truth, and what I'm experiencing is just what I need to function within the world as the world changes. It doesn't really matter. But there's been a long journey since when my uncle expressed that to me, and I heard that, and it would be the very thing that would need to be said, but he laughed it off like it was a joke, like it wasn't true. basically left a little niggle in my mind as a memory. And obviously my whole life has evolved since, where I truly believe I'm in a coma. I'm in sheer terror as a result of physical pain. And you know, the world can't sense that. A vulnerable man that really needs to be looked after, not by a mental health system with medication, just as a vulnerable man from the mental health system, as a human being. And that's it, a human being, because this human being doesn't understand the world when people need to stare at you in the eye. But then again, I'm not really here, I'm not really with it when I'm in terror as a result of physical pain. My judgments are slightly skewed if there was anything in it or not, especially when my mental health is trying to shove down my neck. The guy was trying to fight you, the guy was trying to fight you. And you know, I'm not in a place to think, I'm not in a place to analyse it, I'm not even in a place to even remember the guy's stare or observe it in the first place. So everything is my mental health thereafter. So why would there be any truth in that? The guy's trying to fight me. But within the terror, I have something to do, and I'm getting on. There's not much more I can. If anybody's in terror, there's not much more they can do if they're able to still get on with life in any way. Communicate without rudeness. And still know when everything, your emotions, your mind, your eyes, your body are telling you that somebody's got something against you, you're still able to know that it's a load of shit, and or just to leave it the fuck alone. I don't know if he had any beef with me because of my hairdo at the moment. I don't know if he had any beef with me because of his life and his journey, and he's just got a chip in his shoulder with everybody and everything. I don't know any of it, so I just want to leave it alone. But I'm also real enough to walk into a shop and be in enough fucking pain that if a shop owner is rude to me, I can turn around and say, what are you being rude to me for? Take some work. It's not been an easy journey. There are signs that there's a converging point at the moment in this journey from the insights I've had through my life of what my life would look like. But I'm not taking anything of it. I'm here for the next 100 years, and that's how I'm having to plan, because I can only live in the present moment. When you live in the present moment, you're not planning to get off at the next stop, are you? You're there until the bus stops, basically. Anyway, that's enough of a distraction from the physical pain that I can't address because I'm in terror. Enough of a prostitution against my mind because I'm in terror. And when I'm in terror, I don't really want to say a shit word. But unfortunately, the pain is so bad I can't distract myself from it entirely. So this helps every so often. What do you reckon of the colour of the shooting star? Imagine it twinkling across the skies of London.